Hey, sports card fans, it's John Wade Boggs fan. Hope you're all doing well. The 1963 Flair baseball set was Flair's final attempt to carve out a spot in the baseball card market. 1963 Flair baseball abandoned the baseball greats formula from previous years featuring retired players and went all in with a new set. With 2 short prints and several Hall of Fame cards, the key 1963 Flair card is the rookie card for Maury Wills. Featuring current baseball players, the 1963 Flair baseball set was a bold move by the company. In a strategy designed to circumvent Topps' claim of exclusivity with gum and confectionery products, Flair packs included a cherry-flavored cookie. Predictably, Topps took Flair to court. They won the case and Flair was forced to stop their set before a second series could be issued. Flair was officially out of the baseball card business, but they still released products related to baseball over the years, including team stickers, patches, and cards featuring retired legends. Most importantly, they kept challenging Topps' monopoly until 1980 when they were finally allowed to directly compete with them. Covering players from each of the 20 major league teams, 1963 Flair baseball fronts feature a large player photo. Below that is a yellow diamond showcasing an assortment of player drawings. The player's name, team, and position are noted at the bottom of the card. It's a similar design to the 1963 Topps set with a second picture in place of the diamond. However, the 1963 Flair baseball backs went in a different direction. Utilizing a vertical format, the backs feature an extensive write-up with stats at the bottom. Card number appears right in the middle inside a graphic of a baseball and 2 bats. The entire back includes a bright green border with the same color used for the player's name at the top. While normally the Hall of Fame players would get the most attention in the set, the most important addition to the set is Maury Wills, who wasn't included in the 63 Topps set. This was reportedly because Wills had been snubbed by Topps while in the minor leagues, which pushed him to sign with Flair. Wills was the National League MVP in 1962 after setting the modern stolen base record at 104. His 63 Flair card front notes his MVP award instead of the player drawing found on the rest of the cards. Maury Wills is the only rookie card in the set. Although the Hall of Fame cards are some of the most valuable 1963 Flair baseball cards, 2 short prints are generally the toughest to find. This includes the unnumbered checklist and Joe Adcock, card number 46. Because of the nature of the set size and the fact the product was printed in 132 card sheets, the 66 card set worked perfectly. However, to add a checklist to the set, Adcock was removed from some of the printings. As a result, both cards are considered short prints. However, because of its intended usage, the checklist card is much tougher to find in high grade. Despite being a small release and missing some of the biggest names of the day, there are still a decent number of stars included in the 1963 Flair baseball set. The 11 Hall of Fame members in the checklist offer a good quality and a manageable set size, further enhancing the collecting appeal of the product. Availability, centering problems, and the green borders generally cause the most problems for high-grade collectors. In this video, I'm going to show off the top 10 most valuable cards from the 1963 Flair set based on their PSA 7 values. I'll also give the values of those cards in higher grades, as well as the population count of those grades. Now, before I get to the top 10, here are the cards that just missed the top 10. At number 15, the Jim Cott card. At number 14, the Bill Mazeroski card. At number 13, the Orlando Cepeda card. At number 12, the Ron Santo card. And at number 11, the Don Drysdale card. So, which cards made the top 10 list? Let's go find out. Coming in at number 10, we have the Warren Spahn card. In a PSA 7, there have been 241 graded copies with a current VCP average price of just $67. There have been 273 graded A PSA 8. They sell for around $110. There have been 62 PSA 9 graded copies. They sell for around $519. There have been 4 graded A PSA 10. The last PSA 10 sold in April of 2021 on eBay for $3,300. At number 9, we have the Joe Adcock short print. In a PSA 7, there have been 202 graded copies. They sell for around $75. There have been 150 graded A PSA 8. They go for around $200. In a PSA 9, there have been 32 graded copies. They sell for around $532. There have been 5 graded A PSA 10. The last PSA 10 sale was in December of 2018 through Mile High Auction for $2,022. At number 8, the Brooks Robinson card. In a PSA 7, there have been 213 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $78. There have been 225 graded A PSA 8. They sell for around $249. There have been 52 graded A PSA 9. The last PSA 9 sale was in June of 2023 through eBay and sold for $534. There have been 4 graded A PSA 10. The last PSA 10 sale was in October of 2019, also through eBay, and it sold for $2,575. At number 7, the Maury Wills rookie card. In a PSA 7, there have been 261 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $109. There have been 262 graded A PSA 8. They sell for around $291. There have been 43 graded A PSA 9. They sell for around $493. There have been 3 graded A PSA 10. The last PSA 10 sale was in December of 2022 through Golden Auction, and it sold for $6,000, placing the Maury Wills rookie card at the number 5 spot in terms of PSA 10 values. At number 6, the Bob Gibson card. In a PSA 7, there have been 238 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $118. There have been 266 graded A PSA 8. They sell for around $223. There have been 43 graded A PSA 9. They sell for around $1,068, placing the Bob Gibson at the number 5 spot in terms of PSA 9 values. There have been 5 graded A PSA 10. The last PSA 10 sold in October of 2019 through Mile High Auction for $4,116. At number 5, the Carl Yastrzemski. In a PSA 7, there have been 298 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $120. There have been 306 graded at PSA 8. They sell for around $220. There have been 66 graded A PSA 9. They sell for around $653. There have been 3 graded at PSA 10. The last PSA 10 sale was in March of 2018 through eBay, and it sold for $8,111, placing the Carl Yastrzemski at the number 4 spot in terms of PSA 10 sales. At number 4 is the Sandy Koufax card. In a PSA 7, there have been 426 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $248. There have been 357 graded A PSA 8. They sell for around $545. There have been 60 graded a PSA 9. They sell for around $2,675, placing the Sandy Koufax at the number 3 spot for PSA 9 sales. There have been 5 graded A PSA 10. The last PSA 10 sale was in December of 2018 through Memory Lane, and it sold for $13,735, placing the Sandy Koufax at the number 2 spot in terms of PSA 10 sales. At number 3, we have the Roberto Clemente card. In a PSA 7, there have been 470 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $350. There have been 460 graded a PSA 8. They sell for around $647. There have been 110 graded a PSA 9. They sell for around $2,286, placing the Roberto Clemente at the number 4 spot in terms of PSA 9 sales. There have been 4 graded a PSA 10. The last PSA 10 sold in April of 2018 through Heritage Auction for $10,800, placing the Roberto Clemente also at the number 3 spot in terms of PSA 10 sales. At number 2, the Willie Mays. In a PSA 7, there have been 340 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $367. There have been 298 graded to PSA 8. They sell for around $1,125. There have been 47 graded to PSA 9. They sell for $3,353, placing the Willie Mays at the number 1 spot in terms of PSA 9 sales. There have been 2 graded a PSA 10. The last PSA 10 sold in April of 2019 through Heritage Auction, and it sold for $33,600, placing the Willie Mays also at the number 1 spot in terms of PSA 10 values. And the number 1 most valuable card from the 1963 Fleer set, the Checklist, which is a short print. In a PSA 7, there have been 129 graded copies with a current VCP average price of $386. There have been 117 graded a PSA 8. They sell for around $1,075. There have only been 23 graded a PSA 9, and they sell for around $3,239, placing the Checklist at the number 2 spot in terms of PSA 9 sales. And there has not been a single Checklist graded a PSA 10. I hope you enjoyed taking a look at the top 10 most valuable cards from the 1963 Fleer baseball set. As always, would love to know your thoughts in the comments of the cards that made the top 10 list. And if you missed some of the videos in this series, here are 2 that you can check out. With that, that's all I have for you. So until next time, thanks for watching.